Go Island is brought to you by German Auto Import Network.
Well, it's a little bit hard to explain what we're up to today. We're hanging out with the Body Talk crew, part of Crimson Coast Dance Society. We're hucking lemons around Port Place Center, and it's all because it's a show coming to the Port Theatre called New Animal. Gathering with music, revisiting the guitar, BC has reached a pipeline deal with Alberta and cleaning the crosses. That and more in the next 30 minutes. You are watching Go Island on Shaw TV Channel 4. New Animal is the latest contemporary dance work by 605 Collective. It is taking North America by storm. It's working its way quickly to becoming a renowned piece of contemporary dance art. We're going to look at that production later on this edition of Go Island because it is coming to Nanaimo. We're going to look at the role that Body Talk plays in that production. And we'll find out more about what is up with these lemons. Sometimes I actually feel like I've been transported to some type of version of the Twilight Zone. We're going to throw things over now to Kelly Robinson. Trooper band member Paul Gogo encourages people to dust off their guitars, haul them out from underneath their beds, pull them out of their closets, and learn to play. He believes that everyone should be able to play at least the basic campfire song by the end of the night. With more details, here's Kelly. Campfire group music sessions run every Monday night at St. Peter's Hall and then again on Wednesdays at Arbutus Music. Both times are a 6:15 start time. You can get more information and register in advance if you don't want to just show up at the door. 778-269-0070. And we have one of two ticket giveaways that we're doing on today's show. The first is for a campfire session. If you'd like to attend and hang out with Paul Gogo and learn how to sing a song on your own guitar or borrow one of his, send me an email, kate.bergen@sjrb.ca, and I'll just randomly choose someone to give away 2 tickets to. You're watching Go Island on Shaw TV Channel 4. This is Holly Bright, no stranger to our channel. She's with Crimson Coast Dance Society and is going to connect the dots a little bit for us. We have lemons, we have youth, and we have a fantastic looking show coming to the Port Theatre on Saturday night. How are they all connected?
The show is sponsored by Made in BC, and Crimson Coast Dance Society is a member of the network of presenters who are a part of Made in BC, who make up Made in BC. And this particular show, having just gotten back from New York and North American festivals all over the US and Canada, is touring the province at all of these presenters' locations, including Nanaimo. As part of their Made in BC program, they also support community outreach. Okay. Our community outreach is the Body Talk Project, which is our youth mentorship program in career exploration in the performing arts. And they get to learn how to market shows because they're planning their own show in March.
Okay.
So that's where the children are coming in.
Excellent. I'm sure we'll be telling you more about that show in March as we get closer. 2 questions. What's with the lemon?
The lemon represents territory.
Okay.
It's there's some territorialization over lemons in the New Animal production.
Okay, don't give too much away right now because we're going to come back and have a look at that show while Holly gives us some description of what we can expect on Saturday night. Last question for this portion of today's show is how important is Made in BC for a performing arts groups and a contemporary dance and other theater, I imagine, as well? How does that organization support people like you and Crimson Coast and what you do?
They actually support us financially. They give contributions for the artists' fees as well as for outreach support. And they bring together all the presenters who are part of the network. They pay for us to go to Vancouver and attend a pitch session to learn about how to be more effective and relevant in our communities, and in particular for presenters in outlying underserved areas. Nanaimo, Kitimat, Terrace, all of these places that do not have access to the performing arts in the way that the major cities like Vancouver do. And so it's an initiative to make sure that BC artists get presented throughout BC, and that all of BC citizens have access to contemporary dance in with an affordable ticket.
Sounds really important.
It is
building
important.
Community and showcasing what is being created right here in British Columbia. We're going to come back and talk more about New Animal and Body Talk after a short break. Still to come today on Go Island, more oil pipelines for BC, a new edition of Crime Stoppers, and remembering Grandpa. That and more still to come today on Go.
Did you know that the Beatles' first ever Canadian concert was on the 22nd of August 1964 in Vancouver at the Empire Stadium?
You're watching Go Island on Shaw TV Channel 4. We're not going to get into more details about what all these lemons are like quite yet. That's coming up in just a few minutes right here on Go Island. First, we are going to introduce you to a young woman named Kix Chiton. She is the Body Talk facilitator. And just to clarify, what is the Body Talk project?
So the Body Talk project is a youth project put on by Crimson Coast, and it gathers together youth between the ages of 14 and 18 to learn transferable skills. They learn how to put on a dance event, and through that they're learning about graphic design, promotion, production, behind the scenes work, and they get to transfer those skills into whatever employment that they're going on to.
Okay.
But they get to learn those skills by putting on a fabulous event that's coming up in the spring.
So they're learning the hard way right now that publicity and promotions, especially in the performing arts, is no easy task. And this is a dry run, as you say, for their show that's coming up in March?
In March, yeah. So they organize a week-long event of workshops, and this year it's hip hop and swing. So we have 2 guest facilitators, dancers that are going to come and teach intergenerational hip hop and swing dance classes for a week. And then at the end of that week, the participants put on a performance that then culminates with the guest performers also putting on a dance production.
Okay, and how, these guys are new? This is their first sort of outing, I guess you could say, into promotions.
Yeah, exactly.
Was it their idea to bring lemons around and give them out to people?
It's part of, well, we work with Crimson Coast, of course, and Kim, the promotions queen, she comes up with all the ideas. And so we work with her and we get involved, and so we promote whatever actions are going on with Crimson Coast along with our event. So we're here to support New Animal as a fabulous production that's coming up, and in turn they support our project as well.
Excellent. Okay, we'll talk more about New Animal later on this edition of Go Island. There's been a whole lot of appearances that have to do with lemons in the Harbor City recently. You can actually check out the Crimson Coast Dance Society's Facebook page and see all kinds of city councilors and some realtors and some really actively involved people in this community fighting over lemons. It's true. You can look at the images of that on the Crimson Coast Dance Society Facebook page. We're going to throw things over now to a brand new reenactment of a recent crime in Nanaimo, but first, BC has reached a deal with Alberta to bring more oil pipelines through the province. This Week in BC asks now, is it worth the risk? Here's Sean Leslie. You are watching Go Island on Shaw TV Channel 4. We're going to take a different direction, although it's not that different. Whoa.
Do you want some lemonade?
Absolutely. Thank you, Darren. He's 14 years old, a member of the Body Talk crew through Crimson Coast Dance Society. Good job. Thank you. I'll taste it right now. Ooh, very nice. Very nice. I'm getting distracted. We're supposed to be throwing things over to Kelly Robinson, who is introducing us to a cat who needs a new home. His name is Hobbs.
Thanks, Kate. We got a super cute, super playful guy to introduce you to today. This is Hobbs, and he's up for adoption at the Parksville Qualicum SPCA. Sabrina, longtime volunteer, knows all the cats here. What can you tell us about Hobbs?
Hobbs is just under a year old. He's a young male, and as you said, he's really playful. He's a very sweet guy with beautiful markings and great big blue eyes.
What kind of home would he be best suited for, do you think?
He'd probably be best suited for a young family, lots of activity because he loves to play. It might take him a little while to get used to being in a home situation, but I think he'd adapt pretty easily.
Well, he definitely seems like he probably won't be here for too long.
No,
he is
I don't think
adorable
so.
and playful. Yeah. So if you're interested in Hobbs, make your way down to the Parksville Qualicum SPCA.
Thanks, Kelly. They do look very, very sweet. Hobbs, obviously, very affectionate. We'll be back with more on Go Island for a much anticipated look at the upcoming production New Animal, being presented by the Crimson Coast Dance Society Saturday night at the Port Theatre. It's time now, though, for a very short break. You're watching Go Island on Shaw TV Channel 4. We've hinted at it, we've talked about it, but we haven't given you very many details on why lemons are so prominent in the upcoming show New Animal. It's a production of the 605 Collective running at the Port Theatre this Saturday night. What's the deal with the lemons, finally?
Well, what do you do when life gives you lemons?
Well, hopefully you have the skills to make lemonade and the attitude and the ability.
Exactly. And in some way, this piece is about that place that we rely on inside of ourselves when everything else falls away, when there's nothing else to rely on, when life has given you lemons. Where is the inner animal in you that's going to get you through? And does that experience make you more fully human? Does it make us more fully functional in society as well?
I would venture to say yes.
Exactly.
But that's something that the audience members can determine as they're sitting and watching the show.
Exactly. And one of the things about this work is these artists are phenomenal. They're gymnasts, they're martial artists, they're dancers, they're rising stars in Canada. They're absolutely incredible performers. And they can rely on so many habits. And the choreographer pushed them to the point where they couldn't rely on those anymore physically. And then, inspired by her 2 terrier dogs, she handed them something to fight over, to physicalize the territorial fight, to bring the idea of struggle making us more human into society. And she introduced lemons.
Lots of symbolism I see coming out, which is, again, and we always sort of go back to this part of our conversation, and that is the power of contemporary dance. As an audience member sitting there watching it, you can see what symbolism you want to see. Some of it might be intended by the performers and the choreographer, some might not. And it becomes to your own human experience.
And you might walk away saying, I heard Holly say that on Shaw TV and that's not what I saw. And that's okay. That's what makes the dialogue that we bring together as a society and discuss. And in that discussion and in talking about content and meaning, we kind of decide and explore and discover what we care about as a society, what we care about as citizens in Nanaimo.
Now, one of the things that you did for PR leading up to this show was gather some people at the Port Theatre and put them in front of a white screen and a photographer, and they weren't allowed to use their hands. They had to fight over a lemon. What did you sort of notice about George Anderson, very reserved, fighting over a lemon? And I'm picking on people now, but Diana Johnstone on City Council,
Well,
and Bill Miner, I mean.
Some people were really comfortable getting into their, the animal instinct and really went there, and other people were just kind of contemplating the lemon and what is the lemon and their relationship to it, and what does that mean when you stick it in your pocket or put it in your mouth and approximate a fight or it was just a lot of fun. We had a really good time, and maybe we'll do it again sometime. I don't know, kiwis.
Sounds like a lot of fun, and I will never think of lemons the same again. Hang out here on this edition of Go Island. We are going to give away 2 tickets to New Animal coming to the Port Theatre this Saturday night, 7:30, and you can get tickets in advance through the Port Theatre website. You can call 754-8550, I believe is the phone number for the Port Theatre. The one that's on the screen right now is the proper one. Don't listen to what I say, watch what the graphics say. They're the more correct ones. And I'm rambling now. We're throwing things up to Port Alberni. Jenny Fortin looks into how and why Remembrance Day starts long before November the 11th. You are watching Go Island on Shaw TV Channel 4. New Animal runs at the Port Theatre this Saturday night, November the 9th. It's a 7:30 start. It is a production of 605 Collective, something that you don't want to miss. It's taking the contemporary dance world all over North America by storm, and we're going to give away 2 tickets today on Go Island. If you'd like to be entered into a random draw, send me an email, kate.bergen@sjrb.ca. I will pick the winner randomly by the time the show ends Friday, 6 o'clock. We've got some people behind the camera in here who might need to eat some lemons. Mr. David Gogo didn't make it down to the Port Theatre, but maybe he should have a lemon fight right now. If you're going to catcall me while I'm hosting this show, we're going to bring you out in front of the lens. Getting distracted again. A final note before we end today's show for you football fans out there, on Friday, November the 8th, 9 p.m. right here on Shaw TV, you can catch the Vancouver Island Raiders versus the AKO Fratsmen as they battle for a chance to compete in the 2013 Canadian Bowl. That's Friday night, November the 8th, right here on Shaw TV at 9 o'clock. From lemons to David Gogo to football to new animals, I think that's it for this edition of Go Island. Thanks for watching.
Go Island is brought to you by German Auto Import Network. Clothing supplied by Catwalk Fashions. Kate's Hair and Aesthetics provided by Maffeo Salon.